Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is your realtor hero here with a passionate solution to navigating tenant challenges and squatter issues in Maryland real estate. As you all know, we are here despite the Meta and Instagram shutdown, outage. I don't even know what to call it at this point, but we are here in limited capacity. Actually, Instagram is the only place where we are going to be live tonight. Everywhere else, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitch.com, as well as X, will all only have an audio feed. I am recording another video, so hopefully that'll save and then we'll be able to talk a little bit more. But for today, more than anything else, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be a audio only format. So if you can, for the future, and to make sure that you stay in contact with us for the latest information in case we do have any outage in Meta platforms again, please follow the QR code on the screen at the bottom of the page. That is to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And it's a great little fun place where you can find all the old streams, some you know, uh, old information that you might want to look at, some shorts, a re-edited version of the stuff that we put in here. So yeah, please feel free and join in. Today we are going to be discussing a compassionate solution to actually dealing with tenants, and in particular hostile tenants that no longer would like to pay for the property. So it can become very contentious, and more than anything else, squatters can be a very tricky issue. You don't want to get to a situation where you have squatters, but there are solutions and you do have rights. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about that. Let's dive into it before the time leaves us anymore. Number one, open communication. Start by engaging in an open and honest conversation with a tenant, understand their circumstances, and try to work out a mutually beneficial solution. Opening up that dialogue will be the first key step to actually getting the tenant out of there. If you know why they can't leave or what their fears are, you might be able to help them out and ease some of that discomfort. Make it easier for them to find a place. But you need to get to the root of the problem as soon as possible. Otherwise, the longer that you wait, the more time that they will stay in the property. Number two, offer assistance. Inquire if there are any challenges the tenant is facing and explore potential solutions. Sometimes financial hardships can be temporary and assistance programs may be available. There are tons of assistance programs from Maryland, and Montgomery County in particular has a few different programs that you can apply to. So make sure that you're looking at these recourses before you are one of these tenants or landlords that are in these situations. And if you feel that your tenant is going to be one of these cases where they might default on the lease, make yourself available, make yourself easy to access. Listen, don't get mad, don't judge. Everyone goes through hardships. Listen and work with them. It's better to work with a tenant like that than to work against a tenant like that for all reasons. Number three, payment plans. Propose a realistic payment plan that allows the tenant to catch up on rent gradually. This can alleviate immediate financial pressure while ensuring a commitment to repayment. Remember, we want to find an amicable solution between you and the uh, landlord. So, if you're the landlord, we want to find a solution for you and the tenant. If you are the tenant, we want to find a solution for you and the landlord. We want this not to go to court more than anything. So keep your wits about you. No need to get angry about anything. Because where there's a will, there's a way. And setting up payment plans at the end of the day, if the person's going to stay there a year, it doesn't matter if you're going to get the whole amount today or tomorrow. But as long as the client is making payments towards the landlord, I don't see why something can't be worked out. Within reason, of course. Number four, know your rights. Familiarize yourself with Maryland's landlord-tenant laws and the Maryland Landlord-Tenant Handbook. Knowing your rights and the tenant's rights will guide your actions and help you navigate the legal process appropriately. Knowing your rights is the most important thing. It can seem like a lot of the system is in favor of the tenant once the tenant is in, but if you read the manual, you'll realize that a lot of the laws are there in place to protect the tenant, but at a certain point to start the accountability process for the landlord. And if you are diligent, if you are a good landlord and keep up with your paperwork and document everything appropriately, you have nothing to fear. Number five, legal counsel. If communication breaks down and the tenant refuses to cooperate, seek legal counsel. A professional can guide you through the legal steps necessary to address non payment or unauthorized occupancy. This is probably the last resort we want to really come across. Legal counsel is really the furthest thing. We want to be friendly and amicable and willing and welcoming to the tenant to try to get this resolved between us. Remember, a lawyer of any kind is going to involve possibly a fee for their work. So it's just more added cost for a situation where you're already losing time, which is more valuable than money in this case. Um, Document everything. That's number six. Keep detailed records of all your communications, including notices, emails, and conversations. This documentation can be crucial in legal proceedings. I want to also make another note here that text messages do not count. Maryland's a, direct communications sort of state, and unless both parties are aware that the other is, you know, recording the process for another purpose, or it's not really the most admissible thing. So you want to have clear outline lanes of communication. If you're going to do business all through email. If you're going to do business through text message, do it all through text message. But make sure that you're doing it all in one vein, because the last thing you want if something goes down in legal proceedings is all these different text messages and messages where it can seem confusing at the very least to what's happening or what's going on. Number seven, consult mediation services. In some cases, before you go to the legal counsel, you might want to think about mediation services, which can help resolve disputes amicably. A neutral third party can facilitate communication and assist in finding common ground. There are services like this from the county, and there are services that you can find as a landlord that are paid. Neither party benefits from these services. They are, like the passage says, neutral third parties that are there to facilitate the communication and help in rectify the breakdown. Whereas a lawyer or legal counsel is going to be working more on a client's side. This is kind of a referee in the, well, not even a referee because they don't judge, but kind of a middle person to discuss the matter between both parties before it goes any further legally. Number eight, contact local authorities. If dealing with squatters, contact local authorities and law enforcement to handle the situation promptly. Provide evidence of ownership and work with the authorities to regain control of the property. There are situations where it can be expedited because of the type of nature of the squatter, the what's happening, the reason or what they're doing inside. A crime is a crime is a crime, regardless of squatters' rights or not. So, discuss that with law enforcement and document your, discovery of the situation and what you've done to rectify it. Number nine, prepare inspections. Regularly inspect the property to identify any unauthorized occupants early on. Prompt action can prevent the situation from escalating. If you're on top of it, you're not going to have run into a lot of these situations. If you're making sure that you're paying attention to when the rent is on time and, thanking the tenant, making sure you're following up and having a dialogue with the tenant. These are all ways to make sure that you're not going to run into the situation. Yes, can you have someone sneak into a building? Of course, but I believe that is a lot to do with not having someone take care of the property at its most vulnerable. So when people know the properties are empty, that's when it really gets dangerous, or when people feel like they can take advantage of the situation because the landlord is not present. That can also be a very contentious situation as well. And last but not least, for tonight, we are going to have preventive measures. Implement preventive measures such as thorough tenant screenings and clear lease agreements. This can reduce the likelihood of facing similar challenges in the future. If you do your due diligence in the beginning, you can save yourself a lot of headache. And 9 times out of 10, you'll be able to find the type of tenant that you want. Someone with good qualifications, that has a good track record, and is going to be paying on time. It's not out of this world to ask those things. You just have to be patient. So, know what you got when it comes to location and property, price it correctly, and be flexible when it comes to certain things. But if finding a good tenant is a non-negotiable for you, then make it a non-negotiable when it comes to the screening process. That way everyone knows what they're up against and you don't have any questions of discrimination or unfair treatment because of screening one tenant a little differently than the others. For those of you joining, thank you so much for bearing with this audio only version of the show today. But today we were discussing compassionate solutions, navigating tenant challenges, and squatters issues in Maryland real estate. And if you joined us late, these were the 10 tips that we came up with: open communication, offer assistance, payment plans, know your rights, legal counsel, document everything, consult mediation services, contact local authorities, conduct a property inspection, and implement preventive measures. Remember, each situation is unique, and a compassionate, understanding approach can often lead to more positive outcomes for both parties. So take your time and listen before you say anything, and make sure that you're open for the communication and open to possibly having a stressful situation. It's not easy to be willing to work with someone in dire straits like that. But if you can be a landlord that is open, willing, and understanding and compassionate, you can be that landlord that makes a difference in someone's life and really sets yourself apart, one, as a good landlord, but two, as also someone that doesn't let any obstacle overcome them. You also, I don't see ever really having anything that faces you defeats you, because with a situation like that, that's pretty probably the worst situation you could have is a squatter, someone that refuses to stay out of the building. I'm trying to think of a few other situations that might be worse, but really that's quite terrible. So if you're on top of it, if you're implementing good screening measures, if you're doing periodic inspections of the property, if you're making sure that there are no unauthorized users in the property, these are all ways to make sure that you take your time and save yourself from a huge headache in the future. So I know it's not easy to lease a property, especially in this day and age with all the different financial pressures that everyone has with inflation, with everything getting more expensive. But do not fear. Work with professionals, work with licensed realtors that will be able to give you a good procedure to help you in the screening process. Is the process fail proof? No. Is the process perfect? No. But can we get you a tenant that has these criteria and is more likely to pay their rent on time? Absolutely. So that's what I'm here to do, to help you buy, sell, lease, or invest real estate in Maryland, United States, or internationally. So feel free and reach out whenever you get a chance, or if you know anybody else that needs a helping hand when it comes to real estate or real estate knowledge, feel free and send them my way. My name is Hugo Quintanilla. I'm a licensed realtor in Maryland with Long and Foster, North Potomac, Rockville, and it's always my pleasure to see you guys. My phone number is 240-389-4846. My email is hugo@lnf.com, and my website is yourrealtorhugo.com. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of the show. Thank you to everyone that tuned in for this audio only version. I hopefully will have something to show for you tomorrow, but we'll be back here doing this live again, audio or video or, any way possible. Smoke signals, we'll end up doing it somehow or another. So take care, have a great night. Thank you for bearing with me, and I will see you all again tomorrow. Thank you. Take care, have a great night. Bye bye.